Anime has a very specific language for grief. You can usually tell when a character has crossed the line before anyone even says a word. The soundtrack drops out, the colors fade, the protagonist stops blinking. Because in this medium, hurting someone's loved one is a guaranteed death sentence. So today, I'm walking through the moments when a villain learned that lesson the hardest possible way. Seven Deadly Sins has a complicated legacy with me, but when this show cooked, it cooked. The Frowdrin fight is the purest example. The demon spent years wearing Dreyfus like a costume, poisoning Zaratras to frame the sins, while Merlin and Griamore scramble to shield civilians behind their barriers. Everyone is completely spent. And then Meliodas steps forward, post-purgatory, demon mark burning across his face, and the temperature of the arc shifts. No transformation speech, no warning, just lost vein clones blooming around Frowdrin, perforating him from every angle until he's a husk asking to be put down. Less a fight than a correction, the kind of payoff that makes you forgive a lot of the wonky pacing. Asuma sharing that last cigarette with Shikamaru, asking him to look after Kurenai and the baby. I'll never be over that. That scene has no business being in shonen about ninjas throwing jutsu. Shikamaru's fight with Hidan is so devastating because of how cold he runs through the entire thing. No crying, no screaming, just a pack of Asuma's brand in his pocket, a notebook full of calculations, and a hole in the ground he's been preparing since the day his sensei died. Watching the lazy genius turn grief into an actual military operation, step by surgical step, is the most adult thing Naruto has ever put to screen. Hidan deserved every second he spent screaming in that pit. Kurapika is the only character in anime whose revenge arc feels genuinely frightening. Most protagonists get angry, scream, unlock a new form, but he just goes quiet. When he traps Uvogin one-on-one and the red eyes finally come out, I could feel the air change in my living room. Every time I rewatch this scene, you see how calculated the brutality is. He's not in blind rage, he's interrogating a mass murderer, specifically the one who laughed while mutilating his entire clan, and the chain around his neck is doing the math the whole time. Uvogin's final insult is almost admirable. Kurapika doesn't even flinch, he just tightens the chain. Togashi writes the best revenge in the media. Okay, so we spend a lot of time on this channel arguing about anime, but every now and then something shows up from outside the usual Japan pipeline that makes me sit up. That something is Battle Soul, today's sponsor, and a new episodic animation series on YouTube. The setting, a virtual parallel world version of Soul ruled by K-pop's actual final boss. This is MC Mirror, and in the lore he's the mastermind ruling the entire industry, a narcissist supervillain idol. Personally, I think that's such a cool concept, isn't it? I'm honestly so curious about this setting and the fact that it unfolds piece by piece, episode by episode. Think K-pop Demon Hunter's energy means I'm already invested against my own will. And here's what genuinely got me. The studio How 3 is a real music label, so MC Mirror actually released this song. It's a fully produced official single with its own music video, and I definitely want to hear more of the track. They're planning more virtual artists, deeper lore, whole albums in this universe. Links at the top of the description. Go watch episode 1 and tell me I'm wrong for being hooked. Alright, back to the list. Ichigo getting his chest blown out, Orihime screaming his name, and then this thing rising out of the dust wearing his face. That was my introduction to cathartic horror. I genuinely didn't know how to feel. On one hand, Ulquiorra was about to execute her. On the other hand, the thing avenging her wasn't Ichigo anymore. It was a mask with a grudge. Watching it dismantle Ulquiorra piece by piece, ripping horns off, stepping on him mid-regeneration, aiming the Zero point blank, it felt less like a fight and more like a funeral. And Ulquiorra's quiet acceptance at the end? Devastating.
Stand power! 動けん、バカな。俺が時を止めた9秒の時点でな。これから。その足が治癒するのに何秒かかる。勝った！死ねー！おる！怒らせた。
Gakyoin's last act, lying broken against a clock tower, is to figure out Dio's standability and fire one final emerald splash at a water tank so Jotaro has a fighting chance. That's the fuel. When Jotaro finally stands across from the man who's been hunting his bloodline for 3 generations, there's no speech, just a cigarette flick and the sound of Araki absolutely cooking. I feel that this fight is immortal because it isn't the aura barrage at the end, though that's obviously elite, it's the chess match before it. 2 time stoppers are figuring out whose power reaches a little further. When Jotaro catches that extra half second and buries his fist into Dio's ribs, every Joestar going back to Jonathan finally gets some peace. The forest goes quiet. Zeke screams, and every Survey Corps soldier around Levi who drank that wine, comrades that I'd watched grow up for years, drops to the ground and starts turning into titans. Levi doesn't flinch. He cuts them down, his own people. Then he turns the blades on the man who forced him into it. The chase through the trees isn't flashy. There's no speech, no monologue about the dead, just thunder spears cracking open the beast titan's nape, and Levi hauling what's left of Zeke out as a gory torso in a wagon, patiently carving off the limbs. Every slash has a name attached. The only reason Zeke survives is that he detonates a spear hidden inside his own body. Humanity's strongest earned it twice over. Alright, I know SAO gets dragged, and fair, some of it is earned, but Alfheim's ending is one of the few moments where the show actually cooked. Asuna trapped in a gilded cage, Sugo lording over her like he's already won, and Kirito walking into his own admin panel with pain sensitivity cranked all the way up. It's easily one of the most uncomfortably satisfying sequences in 2010's anime. Sugo isn't even a proper fighter, he's a creep who cheated his way into godhood, and Kirito dismantling him with a borrowed master account while Asuna watches is ridiculous. Cathartic. The final knife reveal in the real world too. Say what you want about the writing, that beat worked on 15-year-old me, and honestly, it still works now. really appreciate this fight, you have to understand how many times Rem died in front of Subaru. How many times did Emilia get hunted through that forest? How often Subaru woke up screaming, trying to stitch together a version of events where the people he loved survived. Petelgeuse spent an entire arc as a walking embodiment of that trauma, so when Wilhelm van Astria, the sword demon, the blade carving half the witch cult apart before sunrise, clears the path, and Subaru drags Petelgeuse's final host under the wheels of Patrash's carriage while Julius's flame burns what's left, it's not hype, it's exhale.
それがこの戦いの俺の役割なんだ。
Shibuya is the arc where Jujutsu Kaisen stopped playing nice. Junpei, Nanami, and then right in front of him, Nobara, left for dead with half a face blown off. Yuji walks into that fight already broken, and Mahito is at the peak of his powers, that idiotic smile on his stitched up blue face, still treating humans' lives like clay on a wheel. And then the switch flips. Yuji stops negotiating, he stops hesitating. He catches Mahito's transfigured soul and starts hitting him with black flashes. Todo's boogie woogie feeding him perfect angles. I'll accept it, Mahito. I am you. Even when Mahito evolves, even when he runs to Shibuya Station to escape, the result was written the moment Nobara fell. Gege writing hate with both hands.
小僧、お前もか。面倒な剣。
Ritsu is held in a cell somewhere in the 7th Division HQ. Teru is already on the ground, and Mob, the kid who spent an entire season politely containing himself, finally stops holding back. Koyama, with his drill punches and knockout gas, genuinely can't process what he's looking at. One second, he's manhandling psychics for sport, next, he's a paperweight. Mob Psycho's violence is so unique in that it's never gleeful. One writes Mob's breakdown like panic attacks that happen to bend reality. There's no smug commentary, no victory pose, just a quiet, terrifying child who wanted a normal life, now repainting the scenery with the people who took his brother. Bones turned that sequence into a watercolor nightmare. Absolute perfection. Fairy Tail has a lot of fights. Most of them blur together for me, but the Tower of Heaven arc is one that actually locked me into the show as a kid, and the reason is Urza. Watching her strong, unshakable, the emotional anchor of the guild crack open in front of Jalal, the boy who used to be a friend, now wearing someone else's expression, is genuinely hard to sit through. And when Natsu storms in, eats a chunk of the tower's crystallized Ethereum that really should have killed him, and starts running Jalal face first through a wall, I mean, it was feral. It's not the most technical fight in the series, it's not even Natsu's best moment to be fair, but that much conviction for a friend, that's why I stayed.
焼かせんなよ。お前ら全員がモルモットだ。解析して作ったもんだ。それが私だけの。
There's a specific flavor of rage reserved for villains who hurt kids, and Theristina Kihara Lifeline earned every single vault. She harvested Guillermo's comatose students for her grandfather's level 6 research, experimented on children like lab rats, and hid behind that sweet smile the entire time. So when Misaka finally corners her in that warehouse, power armor ready, condescending grin locked in, and Satan knocks out the capacity down suppressors, well, you already know, don't you? Misaka blasts the mech's arm clean off. Kuroko teleports the severed chunk back to her, and the railgun fires that piece of Theristina's own armor through her suit until there's nothing left but sparks and a sobbing adult. One of the most cathartic beatdowns in any spin-off ever. Also, yes, railgun beats Index. I said what I said. Krillin popping like a water balloon is the exact moment shonen anime's DNA changed forever. I don't care how many times I've rewatched this arc, when Frieza pulls that trigger and Goku just goes silent, and Namek itself starts coming apart under his feet, volcanic cracks, sideways lightning, rocks floating off the ground like gravity forgot the rules. Chills every time. The transformation takes longer than most series to resolve arcs, but the writing is tight enough that every scream lands. Super Saiyan is rage given a hairstyle, and watching Frieza, the most untouchable antagonist anime had up to that point, slowly realize he's actually about to die, that's the template. Every revenge beatdown animated since has been chasing this exact high. Namek is sacred ground.